I was sure smelling it the other day. They had that smoke was rolling.
Oh.
Yeah. I thought it was coming out the big stack, but it was coming from that.
Little trail.
All right, let's go ahead and get the meeting started. Y'all pray with me and then we'll get going through it. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for allowing us to gather here this evening. We're grateful that you've delivered us safely from the storm. We're thankful for our community and our city. We ask that you watch over us and bless us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. Do you want to bowl?
Yeah, we'll just go down to the health.
Okay. Let's move down to the health policy, tab 2.
All right, you're going to have to turn your book. And I'm proud to say, for the first time in 3 years or 4 years, we are not changing health insurance companies. And on this, behind this, it's like 2 or 3 pages going long ways across all the other insurance companies in their bids. So I had Brett put our current and our renewal with Level Health on the same page, and that's where you see it just with the 2 columns. Everybody's got that? Let me see. Oh, there's Jimbo. We just started on health. You come on in and get your breath. Perfect. All right. So on the one with the current health, these are with this was what we had, 31 employees, 2 spouses, 3 children. And it gave you our rate of $732 being round number. Employee plus spouse was a total of $731 plus the $1,502, so forth all the way down. And again, when you use Health Partners, which is part of Northeast Georgia, there is 0 deductible, 0 copays on that. Now, if you want to go outside of that, you're going to have, like you want to go to Northside or a doctor that's not part of Northeast Georgia, you will have to meet your deductibles and your copays. So to have insurance with 0 deductible, 0 copays in any way. So if you look to the right, yes, they've gone up about 5% from 732 to 842. And they went up about $250 on our employee plus spouse. So this is 26 employees, which is Casey's got a spot open for a police officer. 1 or 2, Casey? 1. And then Brian hired a new employee that we knew about today, and neither one of them would come on until 90 days after their probation period. And so there's only 1 spouse, and then there's 3 children. So we're going to see that increase, but overall, I'm very pleased with these rates because again, the $732 that we paid in 2025 is what the employee benefits are because they're making their hourly pay plus the city paying roughly $10,000 a year for their health insurance. So there's not many cities left doing this, and it's a very special rise right there. So again, the same thing with the 0 copays. You can go all the way down to what your fees are at the bottom of prescription drugs. If it is tier 1 being generic, it's 0. You get to a tier 2, it's 25, and tier 3, 55 and 200. Those didn't change. The only thing that's changing is just our monthly cost. And the other ones, you can see the ranges as they went across. The next best one, you know, when you look at everything, because you can't just look at the cost, you gotta go down and look at all your other fees. But these 2 pages, and Cigna declined, that's who we had, but they got out of the business. Aetna's who we had before, and but their numbers just aren't even close. And unfortunately, Brett Fowler, who is our agent of record with Turtlewood Smith is in a conference, but he will be here Thursday at 11:30 in this room for us to go over with each of our employees. Here's your package of information. We've already signed up. We had already told folks, if you need to change, you got to do it by January 31st because our new policy goes in effect on February 1st. And we had coverage, because I'll get all this sent back to them tomorrow. So I will ask y'all to approve the renewal of Level Health Gold 5,000 for 2026.
Just to clarify, you said no copays, but it does look like they pay 10 primary and 25 special.
Well, in your primary care, I really think they're making a mistake because your deductible up here, and that is a good question right there. But emergency room, there is the copay there if you're in, but I will verify that it obviously is not going to be today. And I applaud you for that. And again, I will have to answer that question tomorrow.
$10 copay is not very much.
And 25 for a specialty.
It's not a lot.
But I will answer that and get back.
Oh, I think you meant a zero deductible.
Yeah, zero deductible.
It is the zero, but I don't pay anything to go to my doctor for a checkup. I really think that's an error because it shows it back here in the current rates, but I don't pay anything whatsoever when I go to the doctor. No matter if I'm getting a physical, no matter if I'm having a hearing test, as long as I am going to the health partners in Northeast Georgia. But I feel confident those numbers are not correct right there.
Okay. Any
And
questions?
again, you can see right up above that under hospitalization, plan pays 100% for using health partner providers. Plan pays 100% for using health partners under outpatient services and inpatient services. So, but we will connect on that. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, let's back up one to Jimbo's commercial insurance renewal policy.
Jimbo, come on forward, guys. This is Jimbo Floyd. He is president of Turtlewood Smith. And just come on, stand in the middle. You're fine. And what I did is I have a packet about this big from Jimbo that we went through.
We tried to make it a little smaller for
And
the
we
group.
came down to these 12 pages, and Jimbo has the same packet as you do. So if you will go to the second page, that starting with commercial property at the top, because remember, we had been with Travelers for 25 years, and that agent had told us when she was retiring, oh, by the way, I've never bid out y'all's insurance. So we bid it out, and Travelers was over the top. And so we moved to Tokyo Marine. It's not like Japan, Tokyo, or Tokyo, Japan.
Philadelphia insurance, you hear them call it.
It's just a different word of them saying. And we've had pretty good service. And so he's going to show you what we have currently and what we have with the new best bid.
So first, let me start by saying I apologize for being a couple minutes late, but some of Habersham County's finest and the Georgia State Patrol somebody's having a bad day on 365. And there are 6 cop cars and 1 pulled over. So not really sure what's going on, but I'm glad I'm not that person. So like Mark said, let me back up a little bit. So we were with Travelers apparently for a long period of time, and then your agent retired, and we got involved, and we went to the marketplace. And at that time, Tokyo was significantly cheaper than Travelers was, and so we moved to Tokyo. They've been a good partner. I will tell you though, I think Mark and I would agree, we had an issue this year with one particular thing that we felt like Tokyo should have covered on a claims issue that they did not feel that way. We argued quite a bit back and forth. And so
Was that flooding?
it was, yeah. And so about every 3 to 4 years is kind of my recommendation on when we should go to market. And so this was kind of good timing, like it was an opportunity for us then to go back out to market. And so what you have in your packet is kind of a summary of it. And I've tried to whittle out as much as I can. As Mark said, the summary that we went over is quite a bit more extensive. And so just so that you guys understand what I'm talking about here is you have your property policy, you have an inland marine policy, which is kind of a catch-all for equipment. If you can't figure out how to cover something, you cover it with an inland marine policy. You have your general liability policy, which is any act that happens, occurs that is your fault, that injures a third party. You have employee benefits liability, which is if you ever forgot to add somebody to your health insurance coverage and then they had an incident pop up, they could come to your employee benefits policy for coverage. You have employment practices liability, which is wrongful termination, all the discriminations, coverage for that. Your law enforcement liability, so that's obvious, speaks to itself for your law enforcement officers, your public officials, which is obviously you guys, and the coverage if you were to be sued for an act that you did on behalf of the city. You have your commercial auto policy. You have $1 million umbrella policy. And then we have a cyber liability policy.
Let me add to that. That is something that we worked with Chuck and ACG on last year.
Correct.
To make sure we had, if somebody comes in and attacks our computer system, holds us for ransom, we're going straight to Chuck and to Jimbo.
And that was something we added in the last year too.
Yes.
I can't remember exactly.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do we have that cyber liability policy right now?
You have it currently.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Is
You,
that-
I believe it was either last year or the year before. That we
I think it was
added
year before.
Okay, it was a newer.
But Chuck and his staff was involved to make sure.
Correct.
And Thomas too was all involved to make sure we had proper.
Because in the cyber world's a really complex world, and so we needed to get y'all's providers involved with answering questionnaires and things like that. It's not just straightforward.
How does that coordinate with the service we get right now?
Well, I'm gonna turn to Chuck. And feel free if you want to join us in this, Chuck.
So what was the question? I'm sorry.
So we have a cyber liability policy, but I was under the understanding too that our services that we use for cyber liability, you kind of have some kind of coverage.
Well, we have a cyber package that we put on, which is the stack of software we use to manage and all. It coordinates with their cyber policy, and there's a checkoff list of things that you go through. Do you use multi-factor authentication? That the tools we have that do those coordinate to check the boxes, basically, for the insurance company and say, okay, if you've got all these things, this is where we rate y'all, and that's how they set your rates.
Because if you don't have some of those, multi-factor authentication is probably the biggest one everybody hears about all the time. If you don't have that, a lot of carriers will just say, no, we're not even gonna offer you a quote. So he's protecting you as best they possibly can, and then if something were to happen and you wind up having a cyber incident, you would come to your actual liability policy coverage.
Does that cover us with like ransoms too?
It pays for, typically that you bring in a specialist that does remediation, the cyber liability policy pays some of that.
And then one of the things that people don't think about is a lot of times what happens in a cyber incident, right, is these guys have been in your system for a period of time. They elect sometime to then attack, but then they'll leave back doors open so that 3 years later they can come back and do it again. So that's why you have specialists that come in to help make sure that they didn't leave a back door open that could be, 3 years down the road with a little to no work, something happened again.
And one of the things you have to remember is typically your systems aren't that unsafe. It's humans are the weakest link. So that's where you have to worry about this stuff coming in. And usually if you're infected, they say 60% of the people are reinfected within 6 months. So.
Think about how far y'all have come in the last 10 years, 20 years, 30 years.
And that's why we have to constantly evolve ourselves with our package of software that we use. And that's one of the things now we're adding to y'all's package. It's no extra cost, the price stays the same. And we've added a couple more tools into y'all's package. One of them is we do an actual cyber sweep now, twice a year, where we go completely through your systems and identify any PII information, which is personal identifiable information that's on computers, on servers, that sort of stuff in question. Is it needed, you know? So that type of stuff's removed, it's all remediated, you know, if somebody's downloaded something, that type of thing.
Now, they will also go fishing to make us
Yes.
answer questions and sign into things.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I just got caught. And you're gonna get a note from Chuck, say, come to class.
Just so you guys know,
Yeah.
the city of Demorest doesn't have an HR department. So when you get that email,
That's him. That's him.
But yeah.
That's Chuck.
That's Chuck.
But that, and we're adding some other things for convenience too, like, we've added a software package, because everybody's now, passwords are the nightmare to try to remember passwords and that sort of stuff. So we have a, software tool called Keeper, that now the city, they can download it, their employees can use it and all, and it keeps all of their passwords for them and organizes it for them.
All right, does that answer everything, Sean?
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Now, if you turn to each one of these pages that Jimbo read through, it will tell you the amount and the
Coverage
coverage and the
limits.
deductible.
Deductibles, coverage limits, try to give you as much information without overwhelming you as possible.
That's the cost difference of what we're paying now.
So
Is that in here?
the renewal premium with Tokyo was 187,000, and the Travelers quote was 165,000.
What are we paying now?
I think it was 164.
I think we're in that range,
I didn't go back to look at last year's because it
but
doesn't.
I can tell us that, answer, I can tell us that answer, just so that we know.
But the 187, and the very last page, you'll see Tokyo's renewal quote was 187, Travelers came in at 165, so $22,000.
And what's your suggestion, Coach? What are you doing?
I would recommend Travelers. And here's why. Both great companies take the savings. And I'm very comfortable with the coverage provided by both. And you'll see the coverages as you flip through are very, very similar almost in every line.
Okay.
So that would definitely be our recommendation to move to Travelers.
And if you'll send me that premium amount for
I'll
2025.
have it to you.
No rush, I mean, just sometime, I got a couple of things that Jerry and I talked about,
Okay.
that we'll talk about
Yeah.
tomorrow. And again, we have the same ability, our insurance ended on February the 1st at midnight,
Correct.
and he has an understanding with the company that they're covering us.
And part of that reason, you just gotta understand, is there's only a handful of specialty carriers that write municipalities, and so they understand kind of how y'all's model works differently than a private run business.
And get the approvals.
They have to get approvals and all that stuff. So they're well aware of that. And Travelers have been doing it.
And again, we're still maintaining insurance at the fire station and on engine number 5. So, again, we'll make our last payment on that in March, but we'll still maintain that for the 5 years of that, even though they know that Haversham is driving the truck.
Correct.
Employees.
Thank you. Any questions?
Additional questions?
Do y'all need Jimbo to stay for council?
I do.
I do not.
Everybody good? Okay, Jimbo,
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. If you have any questions, I'll get with you.
you and I get together. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day.
I say.
On the whole case.
Yeah. Oh, are you really?
Yeah, Jenny would. I brought her up here tonight.
Yeah,
Well, that's good. They're going to hold it over sold
Yeah,
tonight,
go
so
to
I've
dinner.
been selling
Yeah,
them.
there you go. That's what I told Don, it's a long drive for 5 minutes.
All right. Next is fireworks agreements with our company that's done it the past several years.
Technico Fireworks Inc. And, we're at basically the same price at $28,000. There's one thing that's gonna be different. If y'all look through your package, the very last page, There's a diagram in there. There are some extra copies, if they are on the seat up front here. But this is a picture of the park. It's about 50-50. I want the fireworks back to the park. I want the fireworks at City Hall. Fireworks are going back to the park, unless y'all tell me different. And
Why?
I just said I'm getting 50-50 requests from somebody that wants them and somebody that doesn't. And so, if I guesstimate the amount of people that start sitting around this building, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 800 people, that many people that don't go down and enjoy the music that we're paying a lot of money for, these folks won't need to come sit up here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a safety thing to have everybody shuttle,
Up the
walk
street.
up the street from there to here. It was when I was on council, we approved here, we were kind of out of options on where we could have the fireworks. This was always, I don't know, maybe third or fourth choice down the line to do it back here. So it would be good to have it where majority of where all the vendors are, where all the people attending concerts are, where everybody is.
And everything will be on the park side. We won't close. Casey, feel free to join in. We're gonna close Georgia Street all the way to where Georgia Street and Laurel is a 4-way stop. There's no electricity down there, but if we have different vendors, we're gonna try not to put people up downtown, and they'll be on Massachusetts Street, so that everybody is park related. And in this circle right here, this is where the little bridge is in the creek that goes underneath. It's called Johnny Mize Drive, a little short section there. And we met with pyrotechno guys, we met with Habersham Fire, we met with our police, we met with Hank from the maintenance over there. And so he used his binoculars to determine his location. He needs 200 feet. And if you can think about where the president's home is here, there's a sidewalk right there and going straight across. We can set up in that fall zone during the day with vendors, petting zoo animals. But, the petting zoo we're gonna leave at 6. And then the vendors will have to be gone by 8 o'clock because fireworks are gonna go off at 9:45, somewhere in that range. We're gonna have a fire truck right at the end of Massachusetts Street where that old white house is to the right of the president's house, because it's pine, very old home there. We're talking about the fireworks going back to the park, Miss Getty.
Oh,
Okay,
I hope we have fireworks this year that are quiet so they don't upset people with PTSD and cats.
we're not on that topic yet, ma'am. Hold tight.
All right.
And so, then there's gonna be a fire truck on the other side of Laurel to Georgia. So in case something happens on that side, there are gonna be a couple firefighters on top of the art building that has those rubber foams. Same thing with the Commons building. In case anything lands up there, we're not gonna have to question whether it landed. So we feel like we've taken that danger away, and that Johnny Mize Drive right there will be closed. And again, Massachusetts is closed to the stop sign. So a way out is only the way out on Demorest Lake Road to come out. Or you have to go up to Laurel, take a left to Georgia, or keep going to Laurel. Anybody's confused, I'll be glad to meet you there to show you any of this. Our gentleman who shoots our fireworks off is local, and he always requests that he works for this company that he gets our job. Again, they tell us 25 minutes, we've been 27, 28 minutes in hours being at the park. They will not have to go as high as we've had to do over here to get up higher, to be over the building and any trees on that. So, Gail, those could be not as loud because they're not going as high. Can't answer that question, but I understand what you're saying, loud and clear. So, That being said, we're using the same company, the same pricing, and we stood out there. I took, Joe and I went to lunch, and I showed him all these things today. Anybody else wants to go, we're happy to show you too. We start our meetings here probably next month or so with our planning, and so feel pretty good about what we got going.
Any questions? All right, very good.
What that does mean now, Andrew, the pressure's on for the music.
Yeah.
He knows I'm messing with him. This is a regular occurrence. We do have the stage. Did you go ahead and get that reserved the other day?
Yeah, it's reserved.
So it is reserved, and that was the last one that, what's his name?
Jeff Miller has one.
Has going on. So we did get that, and it will be outside of that fall zone that I was telling y'all about. Thanks. Anything else, Casey, on it or anything? Okay.
All right, next is the ACG contract. Mark, where you at?
Chuck, come on forward here, sir. We'll turn the first page. I'll let Chuck kind of walk you through until we get to.
First page is a standard 3-year contract, kind of goes through the main language. Then we get into the meat of it, which is a per seat, which is the same as it was last time. Like I said earlier, we've added on.
Y'all turn to this page when he gets to, this is where the meat of the cost is.
Yeah.
Other way.
This is a list of the different tools
Keep
we
going,
have.
if you want to see this.
I'll get there in a second.
All right.
Of what the different tools we've had. We've added biannual cyber sweeps to, and what that is we actually go through your complete network, through your PCs, through your servers and everything, identify any, what they call CVEs, which are, you understand that when you get your computer, you get on it, it says you need to update it and reboot it, and it's doing patches and that sort of stuff. That patches Microsoft software. It doesn't patch all the different things that are under there, all what they call drivers and stuff. That's how the exploits that you're seeing a lot of now is the criminals are exploiting like print drivers, that sort of stuff that are never updated. So what we do is we go through there and find those outdated drivers, and now we can go through and update all those. Any type of information that's stored on there. We do dark web scans of all y'all's emails. So we go completely out, on a dark web scan and identify who those are, what breaches they're in, that sort of stuff. Reused passwords. So if somebody uses the same password for everything, we will identify that and alert y'all, so y'all can go, hey, you gotta quit doing that. You gotta have unique passwords, that sort of stuff. Some of the other things is because of those passwords, and everybody can never remember, 50 different passwords you have, we have a piece of software called Keeper. And with it, once you log into it, it then remembers all your passwords. So you stop with the, your Google browser, remember the password. We take all those out. You use this piece of software to remember those passwords. It's much safer because it's encrypted, and you're required 2-factor authentication to log into the software to get to your passwords. We've added an expanded EDR, which is an endpoint detection and response. So that's a 24/7 SOC, security operations center that's monitoring your PC. So if it sees something happen on a PC, we're alerted immediately. That's a new factor we've added also. And other than that, it's the standard as it was on the last contract.
The only thing, the other part that's different is there's no fire department now on any of this, for the different PCs, tablets, or desktops. So that part has come out. We now have how many extra computers, laptops?
You have 4 that came out of the fire department. That one we redeployed because y'all had a server that had some age on it. and we redeployed it there and got rid of that old server, so that helps y'all. And then the others are sitting there, spares are not being charged for right now. If y'all decide, hire, or you've got somebody that has one go bad, you have got to replace it without spending any money.
Talk about with our Windows.
Right, when y'all did your complete Windows, the old Windows 10 that ended October 24th, y'all upgraded all your PCs to Windows 11 then, because they stopped putting out security for those PCs. Well, this gives y'all some extra ones too. If y'all, I think y'all are fixing to go to a time clock system. If y'all need,
It started.
yeah. So if y'all need PCs deployed someplace where they can get onto their time clocks and that sort of stuff, y'all got spare PCs and such to do that. They're updated. They're ready to go. They're newer. They're 3 months old PCs that y'all got to redeploy.
The other part with the tablets left over in the fire department, Chuck and his guys were able to put them as stations in the warehouse for the guys to come in. It's several distant stations for the 17 of them to be able to clock in. So I'm not everybody behind one PC standing there waiting there. My laptop that I inherited when I started, he took it. Talk about that.
Destroy it. Well, what we've done is, because it's old, it's no longer supported. We've destroyed it. We get a certificate of destruction of the hard drive and such. We have an e-waste person that comes by once a month and does that. So we're having that one done along with all your old stuff. The only ones we can't do that for is his stuff, because it's GCIC. He has to hang on to that forever. So.
And did you hear back from Megan today on your question?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Because people were having, Megan's in training down in Jekyll Island, that's why she's not here, for her certified city clerk. And we went through this program of starting it on Monday, where everything is electronically done. The guys have a perimeter fencing, I'm just gonna make up the number, 1/4 mile around the shop, or city hall, or like police, when they hit the city limits, they can go ahead and clock in. They don't have to go to the station, and they can clock out.
But they have to be within that
If
perimeter.
they have to be within that
That was
fencing.
gonna be my question.
Now, if Brian's got some of his guys, it's midnight, that live in Toledo Falls, they're not gonna drive here. They will manually get a clock in. Brian will have to approve that clock in and clock out. The guys come back, they gotta put up their gear, their tools. They can sign off on through their phones. And if you don't, everybody has the ability to do that, or if you're more comfortable, go inside and use the computer screen or use one of the tablets. Go ahead and sign you out. It's no different from having to punch the clock, but it's a way that will calculate how overtime is calculated. Because you gotta hit your 40 hours before you go roll into overtime. Just because you work 12 hours today is not giving you 4 hours of overtime. So this will be a very clean system. Megan would take her 4 hours on Wednesdays mornings to do payroll manually. And so this ends this week, plus any tweaking over the next week or two. It's almost been a 14-month process. But we are there and it lifted off. So.
Chuck, what's our price change from what it is today?
It stayed the same. We didn't change the pricing whatsoever. It's $125 per seat.
When you go to this page where the signature of Chuck is right here, that breaks down the 3 of those. Now granted, we took off 4 things from the fire.
And that's reflective in that.
That's right, but we added, talk about the additive that we got for technically the no price. Because you gave us additional.
Oh, yeah,
services.
that's the cyber suite. Also the administration of your phones. So y'all changed over from your old Windstream carrier to the Ring Central. And now if y'all have problems, need changes made or whatever, it's treated just like one of your computers. It's covered in the cost of this contract. So they just submit a ticket and we take care of it.
So basically, Windstream has been greatly, severely reduced, also as an additional cost.
Yeah. The cyber sweeps are included, which is about $2,500 per sweep is typically what we charge for that. And it's included in the cost of these at no extra charge, so.
And there's an individual cost, because there's 17 computers off the top of my head.
15.
Okay.
that are backups,
Yeah.
that are being backed up.
And it gives a per price type number for this kind of thing, and so everything is broken down to that. And, I feel very good with what Chuck provides us. And, Craig, we need something, it's once or twice, they may have been slow because one time we had, 6 or 8 major customers of yours out around a couple.
Yeah, there was a major outage in the area, that was a Microsoft outage.
Yep.
So when we finally got it narrowed down, there's nothing we could do anyway, it was Microsoft that had to fix it, so.
And so, but his guys were running around the White County to here to there and trying to say, I'm coming, I just can't get there yet. Because it was kind of like when Verizon went out of service for that 12 hours, just an oddball situation that happened, same scenario with that.
So typically we, our target is to respond within 4 hours. We try to be quicker if we can, but we try to, if it's an emergency, we will figure out some way to do it within 4 hours. If it's one computer off, we're gonna try to hit the 4 hours, but it's not as critical because, y'all can live without one computer, they can log in on another one. So.
And I deal directly with Chuck.
Here's my cell phone.
And I deal with Craig.
Yeah.
Chuck is included in every one of those. And then Ryan has been our same
Primary.
service guy since I've been here. And he knows where to go and who to come talk to and some of those things. So I've been pleased with our service.
Questions?
Chuck, does Chuck need to stay?
I don't think so.
It's a pleasure, gentlemen.
Chuck, I will send you that confirmation in the morning.
Sounds good. Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next is discussion of surplus and 2 police vehicles.
All right, Casey and I will tag team this. James, feel free to join in. You will see in there what's called VIN verified at the very top, and it says 2001 Chevrolet Tahoe. It gives the VIN number. And it asks several questions. But when a car has become a police car, it is not the same value, even if your car could be the same make and model. I have 2 separate values. And it's very difficult to get a value because, again, how a police car could have been driven. That's why you will hear them classify whether they were a patrol car or administrative car. So there's a big difference in that. These cars were totally patrol cars. So we got this Tahoe, and this thing is not reading that this is a part of a police car. And right in there, in the orange box, it tells you retail clean of 5,200, clean trade-in of 6,100, rough trade-in 4,100, and to the left is 8,400 for the average market value. When Brian got us a quote through the Ford company on the fire rescue truck, the pickup truck, it doesn't register as a fire truck, it just registers as a work truck. So we could get a real value of a truck that doesn't run. These vehicles run. So we went to a dealership and he said, oh, happy to give you a value if you're trading in cars. But if you want me just to buy your car, I'm not gonna do that. So, okay. So they went to 2 different dealers, independent dealers, and said, can you tell us a price? And they said, well, if I was to buy this car from you today, it would be $3,500, $3,000. And so that's kind of the value that we are with this. Now, I will tell you, we did sell the ladder truck this week because you put it on Gov Deals with a minimum. And the minimum we set was $5,000. And there were about 12 bidders. You can see it all the way through. And the winning bid was $5,050. And it appears a farm name, and they're out of Texas. It could be the same guy that bought the counties, took it back home, fixed it up, and sold it. So, and the way that works is he has until Friday the 6th to pay Gov Deals plus their percentage of sales, like a 10% surcharge on it. So, but they pay that. And when they get that wire confirmation, they send us a bill of sale. he comes to pick it up, he signs the bill of sale. We swap titles. That's when I send this info back. Gov deal wires our money. I can do the same thing with these two cars because on the Dodge Charger that's 2016, it's got a value of round numbers 11,000, clean trade-in at 12, and a rough trade-in of 97, and an average market value of 14. Casey and James, what's your opinion when you drive that car?
I wouldn't drive it very far. And again, when you talk about patrol vehicle, you run the VIN number, it comes out as a police package vehicle. We made it a patrol vehicle, we put the lights in it, it doesn't have any back seats in it, it's a plastic, you know, those kind of things. And when you start taking the lights and stuff out, you just, they take away the engine and all that stuff, you start taking away all the lights and stuff, you just, nobody's gonna pay that much for those. Too much work.
Sometimes they're worth more in parts than they are in the actual vehicle.
Some places will, like the place that we get our lights from, they will buy those vehicles and just service the lights. We purpose stuff like that.
So I've got limited information. We can pull this and table this, and we can do some more homework on this. We can advertise it in the paper like we did the service truck. I got 2 bids, and one was, our minimum was $1,100. I had one guy bid $11.11, and somebody else bid $1,200. So, and fire truck, they probably started out at $500. And I can do the same thing with the.
We can set a minimum, put it on the deals, correct?
Absolutely. We can set the minimum $10,000.
I see in your letter, you have a suggested, or you're asking for a minimum bid set.
Correct.
Of the Tahoe, $3,000 and other one for $3,000, correct?
Another thing I did was, I went to talk to Robin. Robin does this stuff all the time, his sheriff's office. And we talked about so he agreed with those prices, about what the going rate for.
So this is what we're looking at as options. We can go back and start over and try to get some more info. And the sale of these cars and the sale of the other 2, I would like to have set aside for Casey or his community policing as his source of some type of golf cart, somewhere to that degree as he and James work on that going forward.
He was talking earlier with the bicycles, that's all.
Hill or downhill, a bicycle, electric bicycle.
Yeah,
He must wear the shorts, the little shoes too, in case you have to run.
Well, you've lost weight. You look good. Yeah. E-bike.
Yeah, the stroke on top of your helmet. But we need to decide.
Steven seems to be ignoring all that comment.
So, I mean, if you put them on Gov deals, would it go with the lights on it, or?
Well, they would have to pay to take them off. We've got a bid in there $200 to $400, $500. It just depends. We could do that. We possibly could do that in-house. Even Mark Cardell to do that. So it's a lot of ifs, ands, and buts, but we would put that in there. If it's somebody buying it that's not in the police business, they will have to pay a different, the additional cost before we could make the transaction.
Yeah, I've looked at these on, seen these in the deals, and it said like like before I pick it up, I have to pay this company this much money to.
That's right.
You're not using these vehicles, these are completely just out of service vehicles that are just sitting there.
We still have the Fire Tahoe, and he's gonna be getting that with new lettering on
We
there.
have another time with Robin.
Robin gave us an administrative Tahoe, that's a 2015, but the mileage is, and it doesn't have the light package on it, does it?
It has lights inside.
But not on the normal use of that. But your mileage is very low on that one too, and the overall condition is very good.
Yeah, to be 11 years.
And again, that's what we're using, once he gets the lettering on those, hopefully sometime this month.
Okay. Do we need any of these held back in case we?
No, because he has an extra truck, or what do you have extra?
We have, right now we have a Tahoe that we're not using, we got the problem, we got the old Tahoe.
Okay.
Back in front.
But what about your officer that we're down one position?
So that was the Tahoe.
That was his Tahoe.
Tahoe.
Yeah, okay, that's right. Now, he was driving this Tahoe, and now we have the fire Tahoe.
Okay.
And the fire Tahoe is better than this one.
Really?
All right. Any questions?
So really, again, the options, we gotta set a minimum. We can go back over and redo our values. We can do, gov deals and put a minimum that much higher than 3,000 to see if we could get more of that. So there's kind of the options that we'll be looking for the direction. And we can talk about that again when we get to that part of the meeting.
Do you have a suggestion on how much you would want to put on?
Well, I would rather prefer to go a little bit higher on gov deals, just a little bit higher, maybe 4 to 5, to see if we can get some additional funds out of there. And if we can't, we run another auction on it, we lower it down some. We'll see where we're trying to fall. Because in the, when they sent me confirmation from gov deals on the ladder truck, there was a 97 Simon, same thing with us, and they got 5250 on that one, but it was somewhere up north. That buyer may have been close to it. So again, you can kind of see some of the general comparisons to that. But until we run it, you can just scroll for days on gov deals. Whether it's a pack of paper or whether it's a backhoe or whatever.
Okay. Council, y'all have any other further discussion?
I do.
All right, so we have a few minutes. You have anything else, or you want to go into executive session now?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we're good.
Anybody need anything? Anything else y'all want to talk about? For a little recess?
Do you want me to go through and start so Frankie can cut me down as part of this?
Yeah, why not? Go through your manager's report?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, we got our official approval Megan received on Monday, February 2nd from GDOT on our application that we turned in last month that y'all approved in January for a total from GDOT of $41,485 with a 12% match of $12,446, and this in
We
the
hope
month.
or know that.
Say that again.
We hope or know that.
We know that it's zero match. Next month we have been working. Casey and I and Megan have been working on our retirement plan of our pension and looking to bring to y'all a couple options. It's very confusing, so that will be more of a discussion in the month, March 3rd, with our GMA representative. And I will get you all that in the charts. And if y'all want to meet 2-on-2 ahead of time, we can do that. There's different options. And all this would start January 1st of 2027. Nothing would be affected in this year's budget because there are different funding options. I don't want to go into them right now. That could cost us additional $100,000 a year, which is a better pension. It can lower your number of years plus your age for a calculation. And if somebody's been working here 30, 35 years, and they started at 18, they still got a boatload of time still to work to get to 65. So there's a lot of things with that, and you will definitely, in my opinion, want some extra explanation, and we can have the GMA guy on Zoom, on the 2-on-2, we can have him on the phone, whatever y'all want, but I promise you, it's gonna be very confusing to everyone, and there's gonna be blank stares on this if you're not up to date on retirements and pensions and these things. So we are working through right now with planning and zoning Hancock Meadows Phase 2, we are working through those with our consultant, which is Phase 2 back here off Hancock. Thomas and I have been emailing and talking to these folks for 6 months. They are wanting to do 34 lots on 11 acres. And we've talked to them, and stop me anywhere I need to stop, okay? And 34 lots, they're gonna be 6,000 square foot lots, same size that Phase 1 is. There's a lot of topo issues that go straight down there. With part of their water study, that's a water district of 950 acres that funnels down to this 11 acres, and it goes into the creek. And so at this point in time, they want to ask just for the rezoning of the property because it is agricultural on there. I can show anybody on the map if I need to pull it out. Phase 1 is a R2 zoning, not because of multifamily. It is because R1 has 10,000 square foot lots. These are 6,000 to 5,000 square foot lots, super small. The streets are private. And in Phase 1, they're in horrible condition. Not because of anybody now, but when you have private streets, there's no HOA set up.
No maintenance.
There's no maintenance whatsoever. They installed the sewer lines to their standards. That would not be the case today. Some of the manholes in Phase 1 are raised up like this. I would encourage anybody to ride through there.
Yeah, it's bad.
And so they're asking to just rezone the property. Then they would come back with all their engineers, their hydrology study, things of that sort. Because the initial meeting is nothing to do with the subdivision. Just gotta make sure we're all clear with that. We will not be there to discuss whether little Johnny thinks they can't get 34 lots on this 11 acres. That's not what we're gonna be there for at that present time. They're gonna be asking to rezone the property, because if they can't rezone the property, they don't wanna spend the money to go through all their development costs. So it's a fair question, and will be up to the 4 of y'all, subject to a tie, and then the mayor comes into it. At this time, Adams Homes is not involved that we're aware of, since they've been building out the subdivision in Phase 1. So, they are represented by attorney, and we've been talking with them. So, it's gonna be a very difficult vote for y'all, of the facts of knowing what the philosophy is in the city limits of the citizens of Demorest on subdivisions. So more information to come, but I'm just giving y'all a heads up on that. So I would expect that meeting, along with the retirement, planning and zoning, could be a much longer meeting. And one of the things that Casey had asked for in his talking with Brian was to redo their gun range at the sewer plant at the end of Ivy Street. Brian called me and said, do we want a okay fire gun range, or do we want a first class? I'm sorry, I said first class. And when you go out there to see this first class firing range,
This is my fault.
oh yeah, turn around, you can be man of white and show them to council and to the public. What was there was just a little grassy section in that extra area over there.
Just mostly the same pictures, just a little further away.
Zach, I want you to go out there with Casey. When it's not maybe as muddy as it is, we can pass those around. And, it's gonna be a place that people, other police officers or other trainers will wanna come do. And,
How long?
Well, we take 100-yard shots.
but they also start at 3 yards and then go back. And what has happened here, each of these blue crossbows there, that's the different ranges that they have with this. Because it starts way up very close. And you can see where they burned the back end. This is all natural. They tell me nobody's hanging out back here in any way. And those two rods going across is what will hold the targets for them. And
I'll say this, Ron went down there and he asked me on Sunday, he said, I'm gonna go in there and shoot my gun. I said, okay. So he went and then he said, man, you're gonna need a new range. And I said, yeah. So we just started discussing it and I just kind of told him what we look for. And he did he designed it and did what they do.
And these two trees that are on this fence right here came down in the storm, so I don't want you to think Brian has left these trees hanging on there. But pass it.
But no, it's a first class range. If anybody wants to see it.
Anything else on that? Welcome y'all to call Casey and let him take y'all to the public down there. Any of y'all, you wanna shoot, bring your gun.
Yeah.
And, as long as you're with Casey and James, you know, there's the capability. They'll come down there with the AK-47. AR-15 or something. Last week, Jerry and I had a meeting, a Zoom meeting with DOT to go over all our projects in Habersham County that affects the city of Demorest. And it was quite an extensive list for the county. And
All the way spanning to 2054.
yes. So they kind of deal in 30-year increments. I believe I sent y'all those emails with those checked off. Two of the projects are our two streetscape grants that we have. Another one is the bridge down here. Remember off the top of your head what the other one was? I know there's a 2034 at Demorest Mount area in 365, an overpass. It's not funded, hadn't been designed. Things could be 10 years out. They just start putting on the board of possibility of things. We were prepared this year for Amy's Creek out 17, right, 17, for that to be a summer of 26. They told us, nope, it's a summer of 32 now. So, because again, we have to move our utilities out of the right of way at 100% of our cost. It's our material that's on their right of way. So, these are items that Brian and I work through on budgets, relocations, and obviously we were prepared for this one of the water lines, but it's not gonna happen now. So I can adjust those for another project. But I did get some good news. The bridge is to be completed by April 30th. That's not very far away, guys. That's February, March, April. Now, they hadn't poured the first bridge pylon that I can see. That's 90 days. And I heard that today from my contact that Jerry and I have with that. So any questions on any of those things? Orange barrels will go away.
They're bringing in the entire state, David?
I don't know. I just gave them a high five and told them to keep going. Last month, I told y'all that with our report from Fletcher, that our wastewater treatment facility was out of permit. And I just didn't think that was right. So I called Fletcher the next day and he said, oh my, we didn't change that from the month before. We were not out of permit, and he apologized for that error because we are within permit in our wastewater treatment, and we are within permit for our drinking water. Now, it's 7 o'clock, we're about to go. You need to stop?
Yeah, go ahead and stop.
And we'll go from there.
Reconvene.
All right.
We ask that you watch over everyone that we leave at home, our community members that may be hurting, ones that have needs. Lord, we ask that you watch over them and love on them. We ask that you be mindful of our city business and all of our business to glorify your name. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. What did we use?
Flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Is there anything y'all would like to change on the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you, sir. I need a second. All those in favor to approve the agenda? Very good. Appearance and public comments. Y'all no comments?
Yeah.
I want to speak on appearance and public comments. So we had two storms that impacted us. And our streets guys and Brian Popham and our police, they stepped it up. Our streets have never looked this good in a snowstorm or anything, and I applaud them for that. Make sure you stop them and thank them for their hard work, because they work countless hours out in the streets.
And y'all seen the emails from both storms and how many hours and things of that sort. And what was key to this storm was Brian and his guys cleared with shovels for hours upon hours down there. And here we come Sunday, come Monday. Our streets were really golden. Can't say that you live like Donnie over here on Habersham Landing Ski Park or Double Springs, but inside the city they look great. And I am very proud of them, and we will be doing something to reward our guys as we normally do when they have to step out in above and beyond. So very pleased with them, and I told them, and so thank you very much.
I have a complaint about the snow. Cornelia posted a video of a police officer skiing on a snowboard. I think that we get something for James for the next time.
What's your idea?
Casey, what you got for us?
Well, we have a public comment, as y'all remember, Erin, our intern, she is gone away from us now.
Not that.
She's gone away from us now, but, she's got some exciting news, and I'm gonna let her tell you what's going on with her.
Speak into their air, please, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me?
Ma'am.
So I just recently got accepted into the Master of Public Administration program at the University of Georgia, and I'll be starting that in the fall. I got a full tuition scholarship.
Y'all, I got to know Erin while she was doing an internship. So she asked me, let's look at my resume. I looked at it and I said, oh my gosh, girl. The things she did in high school, and I'm gonna brag on you, I'm gonna ask you some questions. The things that she took on, SGA president, keep going, help me. You started several new clubs.
Volunteer club.
You get to meet with President Chrysler and some others on student issues. Keep coming. And your overall GPA once you graduate in May?
3.9.
And a criminal justice. And what made you get your master's in public administration?
Being here, basically.
She saw a whole different side. And her, she had Zell the entire time. So it tells you what she did coming out of high school. And, Casey would pick on her mama that Erin's hanging out with boys again. She said, she better not be. We don't have time for that, right? Casey?
She may be our future
Homeland Security Director.
And you're from McDonough?
Stockbridge.
What'd you say?
Stockbridge.
Stockbridge, that's right. So I applaud her, and y'all get a chance to ever talk with her, see her. She'll even hold him by herself there. And I'm like, what are you doing? Find somebody to sit with. So I'm just proud of her.
Very nice guy.
Thank you.
Very proud of her.
Thanks for sharing that with us.
Casey, find us another good, successful intern like that.
I don't know if we can find another area.
I had somebody call me the other day. April, did you sit
I
in?
am on Casey.
So make sure and be looking, and you sell the program. Thank you, Karen. Always welcome here.
All right, any other public comments? All right, then we'll move on to approval of the minutes. This is for January 2nd and January the 6th. Y'all saw these come out over email. Y'all don't have any changes, we'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Good. Next is consideration of the commercial insurance policy that was presented to us. It was presented to us with a recommendation to go with Travelers Insurance for our commercial policy of $165,428. Council, y'all have anything y'all like to discuss on this or move forward with that as suggested?
I'll make a motion that we move forward with that suggestion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor?
If I may take a point of order.
Yes, sir.
One thing that's very unique about this, we all know how much car and auto insurance has been raised. If you look at that last page, the Tokyo Marine, commercial automobiles, all the trucks, vehicles that's approved for the road. Tokyo was 108,000. Travelers, 66,000. That is one heck of a drop, which basically is the difference in this policy. There's another one, the umbrella, 16,000 for Tokyo, and Travelers is 10,600. Everything else is pretty much the same. You know, we've got a difference here, difference there, but that's really, the automobiles is the biggest difference in that coverage of that policy going forward. So,
Thank you for that point. Next is consideration of health insurance renewal. Staff recommendation is to stay with the company that we are going with, which is Level Health, the Gold Plan. Council, y'all have anything else y'all would like to discuss on this? None, we'll entertain a motion to move forward with Level Health Gold Plan. Thank you, sir. Do we have a second? All those in favor? Very good. Next is consideration of the firework agreement.
This is the same amount as last year.
it may be off a penny or two, but yes, it's in the same amount. This is just, for some reason, he gave us a straight up $28,000, and it wasn't a $28,000. And again, I gotta pay $14,000 by February 15th. We pay the balance of that as we get to that date. And he is also working with Habersham Fire and getting all the necessary permits.
Okay. Council, do we have any more discussion on that? There is going to be a new location at the end of the park.
Make a motion to approve the contract with Fire Protection.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor to move forward with the fireworks contract? Next is the ACG contract. This is a 3-year contract, no change on the price of what we're at now. Just moving forward with another 3 years with ACG and their continued service of our software. Council, do y'all have anything y'all would like to discuss? Are there any further questions? I can entertain a motion to move forward with ACG with this 3-year contract.
I'll make a motion.
Sir, sorry. Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor to move forward with ACG? Very good. Thank you. Next, consideration of surplus in the 2 police vehicles. We talked about this extensively. There's a suggestion to move forward. So we'll need a motion made in two sets. We'll need a motion to surplus both of the vehicles, naming the vehicles as a 16 Dodge Charger and a 2011 Chevrolet Tahoe. We'll need to set bid minimums for both of those if you do want to surplus those. Council, would you like to talk further on that or make a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion on the surplusing of the 2016 Dodge Charger and the 2011 Chevrolet Tahoe, and then we'll discuss options on it. So I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second? All those in favor to move forward with the surplus? Very good. Next up, the conversation is value or how you would like to surplus those vehicles.
So they're saying 3,500 for both or
A piece,
piece?
a piece.
I'd like to try to cut deals.
Okay? And I just need a minimum you want me to start with.
Let's start at 5,000. What's
Okay.
going in?
Each,
Each.
if it doesn't bring 5,000, it has to come back to us for a vote. I think it should bring 5,000.
Well, what about, can you determine or change it per vehicle?
It's per vehicle.
So like the Chevrolet, like the Tahoe, can you set a price on the Tahoe to set something different on the Charger?
You can set it any way you want to make the motion.
I mean, I feel like 3,500 for the Tahoe is, you know, 4,500. But I think that Charger should try to put more.
What number did you say?
I mean, 4,500 on the Tahoe. Yes.
And that's your minimum. Okay?
I think the Charger should be a little higher.
$5,000 on the Charger.
5,500?
I don't know if we need to tie everybody's hands over $500 on that.
So 500 or 5,000, say 5,000?
I think 5,000 flat.
Okay.
And again, we would add in there too, if I may, take a pleasure here. They would have to pay the additional fee
And how about that move?
to have everything removed before they complete the transaction at their additional cost. We will put that number in there.
I like that.
And again, if we're doing gov deals, they're putting their fee in there too. Nothing's coming out of our side of the money.
So what's up for discussion is to put both of these on gov deals. The Tahoe at 4,500 and the Charger at 5,000. At the buyer's cost, the buyer must pay for the equipment to be removed by the specific company listed here at $400 a piece.
It says 4,500 for the Tahoe, 5,000 for the
Charger.
Charger.
Council, do you think we need to give staff the leeway to reduce that bid minimum if no bid is taken, or just wait until next month?
Again, what's gonna happen is they start bidding at $500 and it goes up, and wherever it stops, it could be 3,800. Well, it's rejected because it didn't meet the minimum, where we could tell them, oh, right, let's take the 3,800. So just a thought, whether y'all wanna see this back on March the 3rd or not, and we keep going through this process.
I think that makes sense.
What number? Yeah, to give what
Oh.
leeway.
We know the number of 3,000 is kind of what we got, what y'all throw out there. The minimum of 3,000 to give me the leeway, anything below 28, anything below 3,000, I gotta bring it back.
Y'all okay with that?
Casey actually originally said that he's finding out 3,000,
Yeah.
so that's a good news.
Everybody good with that? Okay.
All right, council, we need a motion to put these on gov deals, both of them, starting the Tahoe at 4,500 minimum, giving Mark the ability to drop it to 3,000. Also on the Charger, started at 5,000, giving Mark the ability to drop it to $3,000. Both of them going on gov deals, and the cost to remove the lights and equipment and lettering of $400 done by this one quote that Casey has got, paid by the buyer.
Make that motion, Mr.
Thank you, sir. A second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? Very good. All right, Mark, manager's report, we only have a.
Hang on 1 second. Stephen had come up to me and asked me, did his number 9, you have a number 9 in your tab? And Stephen, I told you, yes, it's on the agenda, but I have not told you correctly. It made the package, but it did not make the agenda. So I need to ask if y'all you can amend the agenda to add the city limit extension for the radar permits for the speed detection. And there'll be more discussion on this, why we need this.
I make a motion to amend the agenda to add the speed detection permit to, item number 11, it's new number 11 on the regular session.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second on that agenda? Second. All those in favor? Thank you. All right, what do you have for us?
Come on up and use the microphone there, Stephen.
So what this is currently our permit lists 385, which is Central Avenue, all the way up to Alder Street. Well, from the hospital to Mount Carmel Baptist Church is not on the permit. And it's just to basically maintenance that and put it on the permit for us to use.
That's true. Everybody should go look back to see the city map back here.
This is strip here from the hospital ER entrance to the Habersham Mills, just like 60 feet from Habersham Mills intersection with 385. And that would give us the right to enforce the 45 mile per hour speed limit using speed detection devices.
Several businesses out there, including the hospital, restaurant.
Yes.
But in here, it gives you your distance of the streets, street names on each of these 2 streets. And one thing, council, if y'all approve this, you 4 must sign it too, so please don't leave. And of course, Jerry and Megan will sign it. And Jerry, we think there's 2 places you want to sign, the cover letter and the other one's back there. And Thomas has those over there, so we'll have those. Please just don't leave until we do that if you also pass this.
Council, y'all have any other discussion on to allow them to run radar in these areas?
So, I guess we're good on old 441 all the way to the other side?
Yes, all the way from Georgia Street South to Alder Street is on our permit.
What street?
Alder Street.
Alder Street is right across from the cemetery,
I'm talking about this side.
going to Cornelia.
Yes, it's all
This
on
is
the
just a
permit.
cleanup, and something happened whenever that was annexed back in today, it just didn't get picked up. And Stephen doing the work that he's doing, making sure he has all these perfected permits, something he picked up on. So I applaud you for the due diligence.
And it has to go through the DOT, and then it goes from DOT to the Department of Public Safety, so GSP, and they'll send back a permit with that approved as a road.
It's not like we're adding this, it's just cleanup. That's very important, so somebody doesn't think you're running a speed trap, something new.
And the signs are already posted saying that we run them there. We just, if we ran it there and someone challenged it, then the permit would be voided.
And while you're here, I know this is a DOT thing, when you're coming into the city and the speed limit says 25.
Yes.
A little further down, there's another sign that says curb 40 miles per hour.
That says curve?
Yeah, curb 40 miles per hour.
Yes. So we can't enforce, with speed detection device, we can't enforce, that's a cautionary sign. So it's not the set speed limit. It's just an advisory for that curve. That's the suggested safe miles per hour to go through that curve.
I think that speed was just reduced for the bridge.
Yes. It'll go back from, so DOT had, the contractors that did the retaining wall construction had signs messed up. They were flip-flopped. So I contacted DOT, they came out and corrected them. And then from my understanding, it'll go back to the normal 35 through the construction zone once construction is completed. And then that's why there's a 25 and then it goes to 45 at the cemetery. And then it continues 45 all the way to where it turns to county before you get to Clarksville.
Is there something else you want him to do?
I just thought they should cover that, because it's like your speed limit's 25. Now you're telling me it's 40 going around the circle.
Yes.
You're sitting down there running radar around the curve.
What they're doing.
Yeah, and we still are subjected to be 600 or 500 feet to be seen. We can't just hide in the bushes to run the speed. So a lot of times cars is going to slow down once they see us anyway. So it's a visual enforcement as well.
All right, thanks, sir.
Is there a specific wording in the motion that needs to be made?
Could I say something? Turning left there at what's now the Texaco station is extremely hazardous. Because, when you try to turn left, there's kind of a little hill there. And man, they come flying over that. And when you're trying to turn left,
It's unsafe.
yeah, I mean, I got hit on us about 2 years ago, and I was in the hospital for several months. So I don't think 45 miles an hour is safe right there.
So the 45 mile per hour we're talking about is on the hospital side. Once it opens up to a central turning lane and then the two southbound and northbound lanes. So it's on down here. This is still the 35 mile per hour posted zone.
Stephen, is there a specific wording on the motion that needs to be made for this, since this has got to go to DOT?
So it just needs, what we need today is the signatures for the approval of the LOR, which is the list of roads. That will be uploaded into the DOT system that they have set. And then also the mayor's signature on the approval of the original extension, saying that that's within the city limits.
We need a motion to approve the LOR. What does that stand for?
So the list of roads. So it's the list that you have in front of you. That's the one that that you and the council would sign. And then that gets attached and sent in, and it's what would be, it's the list of roads that's approved through the city. So there's several off-system, which is city streets that we can run currently. And then the addition is the, just that suspected, or that segment of roadway. That's the only change from what was previously updated in 2018 under Honeycutt.
Okay.
We need a motion to accept this new list.
Make a motion to accept this new list of roadways listed on the sheet that council has here.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I can think of the point, I just got corrected. Stephen, you didn't do anything wrong, Megan didn't do anything wrong. I was supposed to add this, so that's my fault. I got a text from her being out of town. You made it sound like she made it. So I sent her all kinds of smiley faces. But just to make it clear, we didn't make the deadline with Stephen, and I was supposed to remember. My fault, Meg, my fault. You ready for the rest of mine?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
All right, guys, if everything goes as planned tomorrow for Bangkok Bistro, we should have traffic jams in downtown Demorest starting Thursday and continuing. They have to do their re-inspection. Sean and I saw 4 or 5 tractor trailers unloading food there today. Again, parking after 5 behind Farmhouse on the other side of the Women's Club toward the police station. We have the 2 lots right there, and then all day on Saturday and Sunday. So Casey and I have discussed some plans today. Look at where parking is, Georgia Street, and around to make sure we've got it clearly marked where folks can park. We've got our parking lot, the post office, but the difference will be Bangkok will be open, I think he says 11 to 10, so that's 11 at lunch. So we'll have to watch the post office parking because they've got so many spaces, and I just want to make sure that everybody is aware of that. We know the parking issues. We have a solution, but just please be mindful of that. All right, going into Brian's report, we've got 19 emergency locates, 300 locates in general, 305 work orders. They repaired 16 leaks, and this is going for last month. So this is going to be a totally different type number when we see this next month. We have 1,240,000 lost gallons of water from these 16 leaks, and I know the county had 3 major fires last month. That's pretty much around 60,000 gallons. We set 4 new meters, and I'm sorry, this is for December. Our total water usage, round numbers, Baldwin 48,000. I'm sorry, 48 million gallons, 8 million gallons from Toccoa, and 3 million for our Mize well. And realize we hit 59 million gallons in the middle of the beginning of winter. We can be hitting 59 to 65 in the middle of the heat of August, September, October. So that is a lot of water we went through in December. We paid Baldwin 125,000 last month, and like 25,000 to Toccoa. And so water again is very expensive. Emergency calls, we had 3. Sewer calls, only 1. And again, I'm going back to brag on what streets and leaves and the brush did. The Christmas tree lights, decorations at the park, up and down the streets, with the banners, the snowflakes, and all those things was really a great deal that our water and streets department did. So I really want to brag on them one more time for what all they did. And again, think about it for July 4th. It's the 250th of the year. That's pretty cool. 250. Special projects. We've set up the last testing stations, and we've been flushing the lines with that. We'll brag again, go back to our water and streets for the ice and snow. Not one time did Brian ever run out of water because of electricity. He and his guys, Mark Caudell, was over moving the generators from site to site to site to site, because we had to keep rotating that. And when you look at Brian's SCADA system on his computer, it's amazing that if he touches here and here, how he shuts this off and this pump kicks on to bring the water over there. We got low. Everywhere from the hospital on down. Again, we try to teach conserving water, but I would say just about everybody in this room, and probably except Erin, as young as she is, has not been taught like we all have. Turn your faucets on and let them drip. People think that's a racket we're teaching people, because I hear it when they come in. Y'all just trying to get us more. Well, turn your heat up, open the cabinet doors, make sure the proper heat is in there in the installation. Because in our notices through Fletcher, it says conserve water. It doesn't say trickle your water, conserve water. So that's a very important thing. But Brian lost power for 5 days, but he made sure nobody was ever out of water. So that's pretty strong for those guys. In our December police numbers, there were 367 total calls. There were 8 domestic calls, 6 physical and 2 verbal, 10 incident reports, 2 arrests, DUI and family violence, unfortunately, 13 accidents where the Georgia State Patrol did 4 and we did 9 of those reports. Traffic stops, they had 165 and issued 64 citations. That's a 40% written citations, so 60% as a warning, and the officers had 52 hours of training. On some financial highlights, we did have $211,000 in advance. We had $59,000 in property tax revenue. Our health cost to the general fund was $16,000, and right there you'll see $8,955 in ARPA. That was the last of all of our ARPA money. We had to have that finished by December 31st. And we worked with Habersham County Fire on our building and our trucks to make sure we had the same radios as they do, so making sure that everything was equipped the same. We received in December almost $36,000 in SPLOST dollars. Water sales were $588, sewer revenue was $80,000. Water install fees of $20,000 that go into our water extension fund. Hydrant fees is almost $18,000. We'll be moving that into the hydrant fund. Health insurance from the water was roughly $14,000. And that's where I told you a little bit off. Baldwin was $120 and Tacoma was $17. And then we have our maintenance and repairs there, roughly $46,000. Now, what's interesting on our financials, guys, this is December 31st, 2025. This is year-end statements. And so you'll see where we ended up the year. And the right column there is our cash balances through January 20th. Our cash balances overall are 3.7 as of 12/31 and 3.8 as of 1/20. Our SPLOST dollar balance on December 31st was 581. With that extra 36,000, we have since our January balance and our SPLOST dollars are up to 620. And overall cash for operating was 732 on December 31st, and our cash as of January 20th was 806,000. We have liquidity of 4.2 months. So we made it back up from 4.0 to 4.20 end out the year. Again, those are the numbers we want to see. Now, looking at your balance sheet there on the next one, notes payable, this here, everything had been paid in 2025. So this is showing you the balances and what we owe going forward. In GFA loans, we owe about $2 million. And the garbage truck is 220, down from the 229. In the bonds, it's $4.8 million for a total of 7.058. On our USDA general fund, that 45,000 there, that's the last payment for K-State's vehicles that they have right now. The K-State plate reader, that's our reader there, we pay $15,000 that you'll see on the right-hand side there per year. We just made that payment, which was our third of the 5th payments. Because that payment will come out in the January numbers. And the last pumper truck payment is the $94,000. So all that will be paid in full. And then the next one is the $1.4 million in this building that we sit at. Going to page 4, you can see where I talked about the taxes being collected in December, which leaves the remaining budget of $73,000 because the taxes aren't due until March the 1st, so there's always a carryover with that. And again, when you look down remaining actual budget, second column to the right and the percent remaining, it tells you if we hit the budget, if we were over budget, or if we're under budget through there. You can see those numbers as you run through there. On page 5, our total income from water fees, sewer fees, hydrant fees, garbage fees, and service line is $725,000 with total income of $8,300,000. On our expenses, we were at $391,000 for the month, and for the total, we were at $5.2 million with a operating net income of $3 million, which is, you will see how we came in under budget on both items. We came in at 8.462 in our total water revenues against a budget of 8.3, which gives us a net income of $162,000. You look down at the expenses, we were at 6.509. We came in at $6,381,000. That was under budget of $128,000 for a total savings between water and sewer. We were totally under budget to the good of $290,000. And that's a credit to Brian, his guys, and y'all's financial stability and handling these things as we come up with this. Last page, 7, is just about our SPLOST dollars. Again, our balance as of 12/31 was $581,000. We received in January another $39,000, and our budget is roughly $31,000 a month. So that brought us up to $620,000. That will allow us to pay $94,000 and the $46,000 in 2026. So we will not be having those expenses after 2026. So in 2027, we'll be banking those sales tax dollars there. So that being said, I'll open it up for any questions. And Frankie, did you time me on the both?
Yeah, I ain't gonna give you no break.
All right, any other questions on the manager's report? All right, we'll open it back up to appearance and public comment. Would anybody like to speak? We have anything to go into executive session for?
No, sir.
Council?
Council, remember, Thomas, will you set those?
I was gonna come get their
Okay,
signatures.
good idea, sir. Not your first rodeo.
As soon as they adjourn.
All right, if none, we need a motion to adjourn.